are y'all feeling? How is the gacha community feeling recently? Y'all feeling slay? Are y'all enjoying the Twitter shit? Is that fun? You enjoying that? Dude, the power creep stuff. Oh my god. I'm gonna be honest, I started schizoing the fuck out about the power creep stuff. I'm gonna be so real. After like 5 days, it was like, why is this still going? Oh my god, I started freaking the fuck out. I was crushing the fuck, like, why the fuck are we still talking about this shit? Shut the fuck up, who cares? Who cares? Why are we still talking about power creep? Oh my god. That shit was freaking me out. I was freaking the fuck out. There was a point where like, okay, maybe we're having an interesting conversation, and then it just kept going. Why are we still talking about this? It's been too long. Literally, Atsu was not farmed like that. It feels so dystopian to see people talking about power creep this much when Gacha's been doing it that way for decades. Personally, is power creep in every Gacha game? To a certain extent, yes. I do think that there is power creep that is neutral or beneficial to games, and power creep that is actively harmful to games. From what I understand currently about HSR's power creep situation, it does not seem like a neutral or beneficial version of power creep. That's how it looks to me. But does power creep exist in every game? Yeah, obviously. Absolutely it does, especially in gacha games, but it's in a bunch of games. There's power creep in non-gacha games too. Like League of Legends has power creep and shit like that, you know? I do think that from my playing of HSR previously and my understanding of the current meta, it does seem like the power creep is not very good. HSR has put out almost as many or more, like a very similar amount of characters in about 2 years as Genshin has in almost 4. Or 5. Almost 5! Holy shit, it's already been 4. Almost 5 years. And so, like, is power creep in the game? Yeah, obviously. That's a load of characters. That's an insane, disgusting amount of characters. That's a crazy amount of characters. Yes, there's power creep. Let's be so fucking for real. Dot being dead is criminal. I can't speak on like what specific meta shit. But yeah, that's my opinion. I think that you do have to invest a lot more and be a lot more careful in HSR than other games. And I think part of the problem is that HSR is a turn-based game, which makes it a lot more weak to potential issues than other types of gachas, because there's not the same like skill component, I guess, or like I guess it's like there's not this game like skill and like technical skill component, and there's not the same like playstyle component in HSR because it's a turn-based game. Is power creep in every gacha to some extent or another? Yes. Can you mitigate power creep in any gacha game by farming and investing and wishing intelligently? Yes. Is it normal how much you have to invest and plan and be intelligent in HSR to mitigate that power creep? Or is it out of line with how power creep tends to work in other games? That is how I see it. To me, yes. In every game, you can mitigate power creep by investing intelligently and building your characters well and pulling on good banners. However, in HSR, in my opinion, the amount that you have to do that is abnormal. I think you have to work and plan and invest significantly more into an account in HSR than you do in some other gacha games to mitigate power creep and still be able to clear effectively. That is my personal opinion. Is that fair? Even if you somewhat disagree or you'd like to argue, is that like a fair and balanced opinion? Because I feel that it is. Don't forget knowing in advance who's going to stay broken and who's going to become a brick. Yeah. I think it's fair to say that you need to put a lot more work, investment, time, planning, research into an HSR account to mitigate power creep than in other games. So is power creep in the game? Yeah, of course it is. Saying that it's not is insane. But I think it is not a reasonable amount that you have to do to mitigate in HSR compared to other games. Like Genshin Impact has power creep, but you can still clear just fine with Hu Tao, even though she's been power crept by Arlecchino. You know what I mean? And that's like, yay, I'm glazing a dead Genshin, I guess. I don't think Wuwa's been around long enough to really have much of a thought on the like the power creep or anything. The standard characters have been power crept, but that's pretty normal. You can still clear with National and Genshin, yeah. The problem is if the power creep is so too fast. I think that's not actually a complete statement. I think power creep is normal since that's how gacha works, and a lot of games have power creep in them that are not gachas. The problem is if the power creep is too fast and or it is power creep that actively is disruptive to the game. I think power creep can be done in a way where, sure, a unit is better than another unit, but it doesn't make them useless. Because again, my example is Arlecchino power crept Hu Tao, right? But Hu Tao is still a very usable unit in Genshin Impact. Does that make sense? Where I feel that in HSR, it's not just the characters that are added, it's also the mechanics and the enemies and the buffs in the MOC and shit like that. Because all of those things are things that the company fully has control over. It is a lot more at risk of characters becoming like effectively useless without a significant amount of investment that people don't really like have time for. Does that make sense? Is that fair? I know I hate talking about HSR because I feel like people always go like about it, but I feel like this is fair to say. But yeah, that's my opinion on all of it, I guess.